Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about StarCraft 2. Of all the little opening statements I've made in these videos, for some reason that one feels particularly harsh, and I don't even know why. I don't think it's that mean to say they look a little bit StarCraft. The old squat exosuits, sorry, the Leagues of Votann, and their Einhyr Hearthguard? Einhyr? I don't really have any idea how to pronounce that. I probably should. I'm sure someone said it out loud somewhere, but I haven't heard it if they have. Look, let's just get into them, okay? Let's just have a look. You see what I did there? Get into them, because they're exosuits, so you climb. Anyway, this is them, and there is a little bit of the old StarCraft Marine going on there. There's a little bit of it. It's, to be fair, there's also quite a bit of, AdMech going on here, too. If you look at the legs, the kind of plating around the legs looks not that dissimilar to the, I was going to say the Cataphren, but it's not the Cataphren, it's the other one. The Castellan robots. There's just little bits here and there that are reminiscent of that. You've also got the kind of ribbed piping sections at the joints, which you get from actual power armour for Space Marines. Of course, the weapons look very Imperium as well. There is definitely a bit of a StarCraft Marine look to them, but there's also a lot of just flat out 40k in here. Stuff that is clearly influenced from all the technology that the Leagues of Votann and the Imperium have in common. Because there is definitely a shared, heritage to their tech, and I genuinely think they're doing a good job of actually making it so that that shared heritage is there, and that it's visible and obvious, without it being completely overpowering, without it just looking like these are, oh look, it's more Space Marines. They don't look like more Space Marines. They do have their own personality, and it definitely leans more for me towards the Castellan kind of robots for AdMech than towards power armoured Space Marines, for instance. Things like the blade there that's on top of the Power Fist, that's very reminiscent of things like Lightning Claws, or the Boltstorm gauntlets for aggressors. There's definitely a lot of shared stuff going on. I do like the kind of added ornamentation on these. There's cool little runes and stuff on them. The squad leader seems to have ritual scarring on the face, which is kind of cool. I do like that. I do really like the shoulders as well, actually. The shoulders are super chunky, and that kind of it looks like there's extra armor plating on them, which to me, I don't know, it doesn't feel Imperium to me. That is a very distinctive silhouette that they've given them for the shoulders, which I really, really like. It's almost more traditional sci-fi, or military sci-fi. There's less rounded edges on those shoulders specifically, even though you do have that kind of rounded look around the legs. It's quite a cool contrast. I think that looks pretty decent. Now, from the angle of this one, it almost looks like the front of the suit is built out, it kind of layers out towards the groin almost, which for some reason is kind of giving me District 9 vibes. The suit, the alien suit that Vicus ends up in, that, for some reason, it's just reminding me of that, and I don't know whether that's just a me thing, or whether that is something that other people are going to see. I mean, if I put them next to each other, you will see them next to each other. Whether you'll agree or not is a totally different matter, but yeah, there's just something about that really feels kind of reminiscent, but I like that, so it's not a problem. Or at least it's not a problem for me, because if you don't like that, then it will be a problem. Overall, I think these are decent looking units. They obviously don't really look much like the old squat exosuits, but then the old squat exosuits just look like fantasy in space. I'm sorry, but they kind of just look like an egg, a slightly sci-fi egg. That was pretty much all you had, and that wouldn't fit. It just wouldn't fit amongst the current lineup of 40k models. There's no way that you could just ram that particular design into the existing range without it looking super weird. There might be little nods here and there on the newer models, but there was just no way. There was just no way it was going to happen. So selected from the most accomplished fighters in Akinhold, the Einhyr Hearthguard, I'm sure that's not how you pronounce it, have many roles from bodyguards to deadly first strike troops. Each Hearthguard has proved themselves over many years of frontline combat, ascending purely by the virtue of their deeds, just as the staunch meritocracy of the leagues requires. Excellent. There's absolutely no nepotism going on here. You've got to be good, or you're not getting into the cool suit. I mean, effectively Terminators, but for the Leagues of Votann. Oh, also, the sacred rune on the hammer there. The sacred sigil has been revealed once again. Thanks to New Game Plus for pointing that out. Now I can't unsee it. That's it. It's just no way. I'm never gonna look at that and not see that goddamn S shape that everyone drew in high school. There's some cool detail on the back of this as well. Like, I really, really like that kind of metal spinal column that's going up the back of the suit. It almost makes it look more like prosthetic, less like a suit of armour and more like an extension, which, I mean, if it's an exosuit, that makes sense that it would be more of like an extension, but there's something about that. It's so different from like heavy armour that we already know about, from like Terminator armour that we have plenty of. It's a completely different approach. It makes it look more flexible, more usable, less like just a walking slab of metal, and more like something that has that extra layer of manoeuvrability. I really like that. It's just one more thing that kind of sets them apart a bit, you know? So they're equipped with a Vulcanite disintegrator and a shoulder-mounted grenade launcher. Awesome. And they've got concussion gauntlets. Excellent. Oh, there's the horse thing again, like the horse crest. So that's going to be the that's definitely like the squad leader thing, isn't it? If you see that on a guy, you know that they're in charge. There's a little kind of Viking-esque, I guess, motif. I'm okay with it. I do like the way that they say, though, those who prefer the deftness of a sword over the raw power of their gauntlets can fit a thrumming plasma blade to their wrist. I mean, you're not going to be as deft with the sword if it's attached to your wrist, are you? I'm not a swordsman, I'll be honest. I haven't done fencing, I haven't been in many battles, but I feel like you're not going to be quite as deft with a sword that's strapped to the back of your hand as you are with a sword that you are just holding in your hand. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just talking out my arse there, but I feel like probably that's going to be as much like blunt force trauma as it's going to be cutting people, to be honest. Anyway, I do like these close-ups down here. They do look good. They really kind of emphasise the extra armour layers, those kind of thick, chunky shoulder pads. The fact that these are incredibly, like, thick models, so they're not just wide, they're almost like, I'm not going to say they're as thick as they are wide, but they are pretty damn chunky front to back, aren't they? I mean, if you look at where the grenade launcher is mounted, that kind of layer of rear armour, and then you can't even see the front of his armour the way it's zoomed in, just because it's so far out. And there is definitely that kind of forward slant to the front of the armour as well. They are so much like... They might look more sophisticated than Terminators, but if anything, they are just as brick-like, if not a little bit more, just in terms of their overall presence. Overall, these are pretty solid. I don't think that there's really anything wrong with them. I think there will be people who are disappointed because they're not like the old style Exo-Armour, but I think when it comes to all of this stuff, all of the Leagues of Votann models, you kind of have to temper expectations with what would reasonably fit now and the changes that Games Workshop has made overall to the style of the game. Like, if you really wanted to see that old stuff just come straight back, there's just no chance that that's going to happen. I think anything that you're properly kind of desperate to see, there has to be an acknowledgement somewhere that it's not going to be classic squats, because classic squats don't fit in the universe that Games Workshop has kind of slowly but surely built 40k into, and like retcon certain stuff and changed the styling of certain things. It was never going to fit properly. As just models go, I quite like these. They do look decent. Anyway, the question is, what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click it if you don't want to. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you'd like. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.